In our world lead, one of the many executive orders President Trump signed yesterday is the suspension of the U.S. refugee resettlement program, leaving thousands of refugees worldwide who had been vetted in limbo. This includes at least 2,000 Afghans who helped the United States in the 20-year war and who had already been approved for resettlement in the United States after that chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. Ann Richard joins us now. She's a senior advisor at the nonprofit AfghanEvac and former Assistant Secretary of State for Population, Refugees, and Migration in the Obama administration. Ann, thanks for joining us. So some of these refugees are in danger, right? I mean, because one presumes they helped the United States, the Taliban's in charge. The Taliban might be searching for them.
Absolutely. These are people who are themselves or are family of people who've served with, alongside American military in Afghanistan, or worked for the embassy or development agencies, or spoke up on behalf of human rights. And so these are the good guys who've lost out to the Taliban, and the Taliban is very clear that they want to get them. They're threatening them, and their lives are at risk.
Have you reached out at all to Michael Waltz, who is the President Trump's national security advisor? He's a Green Beret, and he has spoken about the need to get Afghan partners out of Afghanistan. Has he taken your calls? Has he been open-minded to hearing about this?
We have had great success on both sides of the aisle in Congress. We had excellent entree into the Biden administration, and so we would like very much to establish contact with Trump officials and get their agreement to put a pause on or make an exception for the Afghans for whom we owe so much.
Yeah.
And to make sure that they're allowed to continue to come in despite the plans to stop the resettlement of refugees.
And some of those waiting to leave have family members here in the United States who have been waiting for them to come over via this resettlement plan. So what happens to them now?
We're very concerned about all the people who were told to just wait patiently in line and we would get to them, we, the U.S. government, and the charities that work alongside the U.S. to bring them in. The good part is that there are a lot of communities across the U.S. that want to take in Afghans who worked alongside our veterans, now veterans. There are a lot of communities that understand that refugees make great future Americans. And so we're hopeful that an exception or a carve-out can be made for this group especially.
Have you talked to any of the ones in Afghanistan? What are you and your group hearing from them?
Oh, we're in constant contact with people in Afghanistan who are very, very worried. And of course, their relatives here in the U.S. are frantic because they don't want them to miss the opportunity to rejoin the rest of the family in the United States. Some of the people who were slotted to come on upcoming flights include unaccompanied minors, so children who were, through no fault of their own, separated from their families, and other close family members. And Afghans do have large families. They're very family centric, and so they are alarmed right now on both sides of the world that they might end up separated for good.
What's your message? And you feel free to look at the camera and say it. What's your message to President Trump about why you want him to make a carve-out for these groups? Go ahead and just tell him.
I would say that I know President Trump is pushing a strong national security message, and that these are people who worked hand in hand with Americans on behalf of U.S. national security priorities. And so these are folks we owe it to bring to safety. Anything that can be done to do that sooner, swifter. These are not people who are threatening Americans. They are, in fact, on the side of Americans.
Ann Richard, thank you so much. Please stay in touch, and please send any people who are affected by this directly to here. We'd love to tell their stories and see if.
Thank you very much.
I think former Congressman Waltz has been very active in this, and hopefully he's listening.
This doesn't have to be a partisan issue.
Right, exactly. Ann Richard.